Hi, and welcome to Dittmer Knittery. I'm Bev, and you will find my contact information and other information and some links in the description box below. Today is a very special video. This is my video for the Fall Yarny YouTube Hop, brought to us by Kim, the Crafty Nomad. And of course, I will link her channel in the description box below. And be sure to go to her channel to find the list of all the participants in the Fall Yarny YouTube Hop. It's going to be so much fun. So I'm making this video a little bit ahead of time, and all of our videos will be released today, the first day of fall. For the Fall Yarny YouTube Hop, I decided to make a headband. I think it turned out really nice. But then I thought of something else. And so I made something else for the Fall Yarny YouTube Hop. I decided to make a bunting, something like this that you see in the picture, but with fall themed figures. And I had purchased some felted sheets and some felt sheets. These are pre-felt sheets, 100% wool. I purchased these from Living Felt. So I would say about 8.5 inches by, I think they're 8 by 11. And it's not very thick. But I had purchased several of these sheets, and these are different from the sheets you see in the photograph. So that's why I'm showing you this. Is the felt that I used for the bunting that you see in the photograph was a bit different from this. It was quite a bit heavier. It was probably twice as thick. So it was probably more like that thickness. And it was just different. And they were larger sheets. So I didn't get the same results as I did in the bunting that you see in the photograph. These sheets are thinner, smaller, altogether smaller and lighter weight than the previous felted material that I used to make the bunting. But I decided they would work, and I cut several of them in half and folded them in half again to try to make a little bunting. And I needle felted them with Knit Picks palette yarn. See the little clips I was going to use to hang them with? And as a matter of fact, those little tiny clips did not work very well. Like every time I squeezed them, they fell apart, and I ended up not using them. I got some better ones. But I liked the little ones that they were just too little, too fiddly. And they, like I said, every time I squeezed the little clothespin part, they just fell apart. Anyway, so I even did some lettering on the reverse side, thinking, you know, when I clipped it and hung it up, that it would be two-sided in a way and look really cute. I'll show some of the needle felting in a few minutes. But the little flags were just too little. They were too small to use for a bunting as I had imagined, as I planned, and I decided just to set them aside for the moment. I had other things I was working on. Then I had an idea. I think I was like looking for a greeting card to write to someone, and I had the idea, I think this is how I got the idea. I had the idea of using blank greeting cards, and so I trimmed the little felted pieces that I had made, and I glued them with Aileen's tacky glue to greeting cards. And I think that turned out great. So this is a greeting card, a blank greeting card that you can write in, has an envelope, and then it's something you could save. You could set it on your desk or your table, or hang it in your room, or there's a variety of things you could do with something like this. It is felt, it is hand needle felted, so it's a little tiny piece of art on a greeting card, and that just made me so pleased to be able to do that with these little pieces that I had created. And so I decided then to make a set of 4 greeting cards And my friend, Rod, liked the little mushroom so well that I gave it to him as it was, with the folded in half with the word shroom on it, so he could hang it on his art wall. That worked out nicely because I can show you a little bit of the needle felting as I complete this fourth piece for my set of greeting cards. I used batting to create this main part of the pumpkin. And again, batting is short, crimped fibers. It's easy to separate a small piece. They're not long fibers, they are short fibers. There's the piece of batting, and it just separates into the tiniest pieces, where something with a longer fiber is not as easy to needle felt. So this batting works well for filling in a little bit larger spaces of the needle felting, where maybe yarn wouldn't work quite as well. Although yarn would work, you could fill in that with yarn. So then, to complete my pumpkin, I'm going to outline it in this brown. And I'll probably even outline these lobes, the pumpkin lobes. And maybe I'll do that in a lighter color, I don't know. Usually the dark outline really brings the piece to life, and it's easy to see the nice effect that will have just to put a brown outline around the pumpkin. And then I plan to create a stem with the same brown and maybe some leaves, and that maybe a little curly kind of vine, like that vine that sometimes comes off of a pumpkin stem. So you can see that even though I haven't needle felted any of the green or brown on, that I can kind of tell what it's going to look like, and I can kind of tell that it's going to look nice. So I'm just going to poke some of this yarn into place. And I did before I even started filling in with the batting. I outlined in light orange the shape, and so that was my guide to create the inside of the pumpkin. And so then I can just use this yarn, and this again is Knit Picks palette yarn, a fine weight yarn. I believe it is a 2-weight fine weight yarn, and it's really nice for small pieces like this. Creates a great outline. And I am using a fine felting needle. All felting needles are not the same, and I recommend, if it's possible, that you try a couple, and I would start with a fine one. And so I am just really tacking this in place and making sure every so often I do poke the yarn down into the piece, and that helps me make sure I'm allowing enough yarn for the piece. If I'm not careful, if I pull it tight and I start felting over here like this, I might miss that outline that I'm trying to achieve there. So go carefully. Make sure you're getting your yarn in the right place. And it's easy to correct mistakes at this point when you're just kind of sketching it in. It just comes loose as you tug on it. And then if you had it in the wrong place, you can just poke it back in. Or if that piece that you had been working with were frayed and it didn't look right anymore, you could cut it off or break it off and start a new piece, and it wouldn't show if you just laid another new piece right there and started with the brown again, if for some reason you had to break off your yarn or if you ran out of yarn and needed more. This is really fun and not hard. It takes some practice. And yes, I did, I made a sketch on a piece of paper, kind of to give me the idea of what size and shape I wanted my pumpkin to be. And I think I'll go ahead and kind of shape the stem before I see if I want to put brown around those lobes of the pumpkin. And so if it looks a little bit fuzzy, I'll smooth that out if I want to with a fine needle, or I can leave it fuzzy. I like the fuzziness of the pumpkin part of it. So I'll continue to fill in the stem . That's enough for me to go ahead and begin to place the leaves and the little viney part, if I can find the end of my yarn. So that creates a leaf shape. And I can just go around it again to get more of the shape I want. Fill it in. And like I said, I will go over all of this again. This is my really beginning sketching. And of course, on a small piece like this, it won't take long to finish it up. Even though this is a beginning sketch, there won't be much additional work, just really securing everything, making sure the yarn is well attached to the background. And for something you would wear, you would spend more time making sure that the yarn was attached. But something like this that will be on a card and it won't be worn or handled excessively, it's okay if some of it's left fuzzy and if it's not as securely attached as it would be for a wearable. And there's a little bit of twirly vine to go with our pumpkin. And I don't want to make this video too long, so I just wanted you to see how fun and easy this is to do a little bit of needle felting. I've mentioned before that there are many methods of felting, many methods of felting. There are many methods of needle felting. And if you are interested in these other techniques, because I will show you the techniques that I use, but I don't want to you to think or give the impression that I know all about felting and that what I do is the only way to do it. And also, of course, if you have ideas, try them. Of course, do it. If you think of something that you would like to do, you should go ahead and do it. But I show the techniques and tools that I use, the things I know. But I like to mention that if you are interested in other techniques, other materials, other tools, I highly recommend Living Felt videos. It's a large collection of videos with showing a variety of techniques from beginner to advanced with needle felting and wet felting and all different kinds, and a very nice instructor that's patient, and it's just, they're fun to watch. So Living Felt is on YouTube. You can search for it, you'll find the channel, and if you are interested about anything in felting, you can go to her playlists and see the different things that she talks about, and she's been doing it for quite some time, several years, and she has, like I said, a library of felting videos. And again, that is Living Felt Videos, which has a store. They have a retail store in Texas, I want to say near Austin. I'm not positive of that, but I believe that's right. And I buy my felting needles from there, and that's where I purchased these sheets of felt that I used to make the greeting cards that I am pretty pleased with. And you saw that I was working on the pumpkin to make it a set of 4 cards, and when I finish the pumpkin, I have 1 greeting card left, and I will glue the pumpkin to it. When I cut this apart, cut the pumpkin off of there, I will be able to use this other piece for the ones where I had put lettering on the reverse of them. If I hadn't cut up the piece of felt, which I did, I cut up a couple of the pieces of felt, but then I realized that I could just remove the lettering. This is the one that said berries, and I just removed the lettering because I hadn't secured it completely. Again, because I plan to get some more blank greeting cards and make some more little felted things to glue to them, and maybe have a couple more sets of greeting cards for the fall festivals. But this first set of greeting cards is my Fall Yarny YouTube Hop project. A sunflower, and this is again needle felting with wool yarn and wool batting on wool fabric. Some leaves and some berries. Be sure to go to Kim's channel and get the playlist of the Fall Yarny YouTube Hop participants, the content creators who will also be putting out videos today. I can't wait to see all of them. So go check out Kim's channel. The playlist will be there. She probably will update it periodically. So go back to her channel and check again and watch some of her creative, crafty videos. Thank you, Kim, for all you do for our Yarny Crafty community. Thanks to my viewers for watching this video and for watching all the Fall Yarny YouTube Hop videos. And if you're so inclined, as you go to those channels and watch, please comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you again soon.